Hello and welcome to The Silver Lining, the weekly geekly talk show where we discuss any number of topics that may have come up during the week. I'm your host, Uncle Silver, aka Silver Greg, aka Greg, whatever you're comfortable calling me. And welcome to you, my co-host, The Chat. Always a terrific time having you here, interacting with everybody. It's always fantastic fun on our, 102nd episode? 102nd episode of The Silver Lining. Gorilla, Nitro, Latimer, Ryan, Sir Sandox, what is going on? Hopefully you all are doing okay. Hopefully you had a relatively decent week. I don't know, my week was Flip note, what's going on? My week was like and I think this is true for a lot of people. Tell me if this is true for you. My week was like a roller coaster, right? Like there was a lot of like ups and downs. It felt like a lot of downs, but I don't know. I can't. I don't even know if I could say ups that much. Like, it was such a wild, like emotionally, just kind of all over the place week. And then I kind of thought it was just me. And then I've noticed that a lot of people, especially on Twitter and stuff, a lot of people seem to be dealing with the same thing. Like it's definitely a lot of up and down. Yeah, certainly a roller coaster. Hey, Soda. Let's play what's going on. Big ol' 102. We're this is our third episode into the triple digits. Baka Mitai is a song from Yakuza. But yeah, hopefully your week has been more ups than downs. I think that's probably one of the best things we can ask for. I guess that's the thing you're always kind of asking for, right? Is just more ups and downs, because you can't have all ups, right? Like nobody's life is all downs, and you really can't have all up. Like if you're, I've said it before, your life needs to be ups and downs, because otherwise your life is like this, and your flatline means you're dead. Unqualified gamer, I've been depressed this week. Yeah, it's just been really bad, Bruce. What's going on? Potato ISP, Silver Lining. Started moving stuff into the basement for the flooring stuff next month. Oh yeah. A lot of stuff to get rid of, just junk gathering. Still a ways to go. Well, Ryan, if you're looking to sell any video games, you give old Uncle Greg a call there. I say a friend of mine I haven't seen in a month. That's good. Hopefully better than mine. Yeah, Bruce, I'm sorry, man. Bruce, you give me a call, man. You tell me what's going on. Hey, Bruce, has round one reopened? I've been meaning to find out, and I keep forgetting to look. Greg's retro tat collection services. I don't know why the tat is there. I don't know if I can collect retro tattoos. Niamo, what's going on? Sonic's week's been all right. Just been talking to friends and watching their Bloodborne streams. All right, I dig that. There isn't much I want to sell at this point. Well, when you're ready to let me know. Oh, tat as in guff stuff that I've never heard. That must be a European slang, right? That must be a different slang. Yeah, I've never heard of tat as like junk. Like stuff. Yeah, British slang. Yeah. Across the pond, as they say. In the land where they don't let Americans in. But we won't talk about that. So not those yeah, could you imagine if you just have like tattoos laying around? No, it hasn't, but the gallery is. Okay, that's what I was this weekend I was trying to figure out what I was gonna do, and I'm like, I think round one reopened. I'm not sure, but if it hasn't, then I'm not going to bother with it. I was kind of hoping to go and play some more skee ball and scam some more arcade sticks and possibly play some my. I just learned something new today. Is it tat? Is it British slang? I think we'd all be a lot happier if it was an actual pond. No, because Latimer, I would not be happy if it was an actual pond, because I want to know that when I'm over there, other Americans can't just get over there with me. It's so funny, right? I was thinking about it today. I was thinking about like, the idea that Americans are like that the rest of the world is like quarantined off of America, right? Like we're not allowed to go over there and stuff. Or I guess we are allowed to go over there, but there has to be like a lot of restrictions or something, or we're just not allowed to go over there at all. I'm not entirely sure. But like, I think about going over there and anywhere really. I think about this all over the world. I think about going there and being a good American, right? I want to be a good person. I want to go over there and be super polite and observe all of their rules and not be the stereotype that the rest of the world probably assumes that we are, not even probably, and then like change people's minds, right? I want people to say, "Oh, I guess not all Americans are like that." You know, however like that is for that particular place. But then I think, no, because I don't want them to get a false idea, because for the most part, they probably are. I've been checking, like, taking walks downtown. Oh, that's good, then. That's good. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been on a walk in like a week and a half or so I need to get back out and walk around a little more. I think you'd be a love that. I think so, Elements. I think the problem is that I just don't want I don't want the rest of the world to think, oh, that's really what they're like. Like, no, they're all the stereotypes you've heard are true. It's just not everybody. What did I walk into about America? Just about visiting other countries and being the stereotype of America over there. Pop round mine, what? And we'll get pop round. Oh, pop round mine and we'll get Chinese food. Yeah. Chinese food is okay. I'd rather get ramen. Imagine the Tokyo Olympics are still on Japanese. Oh my God, yeah. The Tokyo Olympics, what did they postpone until next year? I still question whether or not it'll be next year. See, it'll be next year for everybody else. I have no idea how long it's going to take for us. I was talking to a guy at my job today, and he was talking about how in 1918 the Spanish flu hit, and that was a whole big thing where it was like wearing masks and people didn't want to wear masks and stuff. It was like a year before the country got back to normal because of the Spanish flu thing, and so many people died. And I said to him, yeah, but they probably took it a lot more seriously than a lot of people are taking it now. So I question whether or not a year is even going to be enough here. You know, what's that video? I retweeted a video earlier where the woman's singing, and she's singing, the pandemic isn't over just because you're over it. And that's like the perfect phrase, right? Like that is exactly what is going on. Like you're over it. Like you're upset. I get it. You're frustrated. You're upset. You know, you got cabin fever, all this stuff. So you want it to be over, but that doesn't make it over. I don't care if other countries think individual Americans are bad. And Gorilla, and that's sort of my thing. Is just, you know, just be good wherever you go. Just study up on the country's rules on COVID if you're going to visit somewhere. Well, I know that some places don't. They were restricting travel from America, or they were requiring you to be quarantined when you went there or something like that. Like there were some things going on. So I mean, I'll be honest. Even states here in the U.S., even individual states are requiring if you come from certain states that are like hotbeds, they are requiring that you be quarantined if you come here, that you be quarantined for 2 weeks if you come here. Yeah, basically everywhere isn't letting and Ryan, are they straight up like, no, you're not getting in, or is it like you can get in, but we require proof of testing within a couple weeks, or we require when you're over here that we test you? Like, is that what it is? Or is it basically, no, there are no flights from America to anywhere else? 2 weeks quarantine over here in Ireland is required if you come in on flights from overseas. Okay, so you're allowed to go to Ireland, but basically, if you're planning to stay for a week, plan a 3-week trip. You'll have to live stream from a quarantine hotel or something. Hey, Mr. L, listen. If I had the money and the ability to go to another country right now, to go anywhere else right now, and you tell me that my requirement is that I have to stay in a hotel for 2 weeks, but you're giving me internet access so that I can do my live streams, so that I can do massive live streams, by the way, since I wouldn't be working, so I'd be doing huge live streams over there. Every day, we can do a just chatting where I sit in front of a window and I show you a different angle from my hotel room. we're kind of talking, right? Like we're kind of there. Vivi, what's going on? Admirable. It's just kind of wild. It's just kind of wild, and it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate that, you know, we do this every week. I don't want to talk about this stuff because I want to be a refuge from all of this, but the reality is it's kind of everywhere and it just kind of comes up. But you know, it's pervasive. You know, it is. I've said it before that it's unprecedented. It is affecting every part of our lives. You know, there isn't. I feel like there isn't a part of our lives that isn't affected by what's going on. Even if, like, let's say you work from home. Let's say you're a streamer. Let's say you are a permanent streamer. You get food delivery service. Like, let's pretend you never leave the house for whatever reason. It still affects your life because you still end up talking about it. It still alters your topics of conversation. You know, it's just so interesting. I'm doing good. I'm doing okay. Doing better. I was doing pretty bad. I had a low point this week. My midweek was kind of rough. A lot of things are hitting me hard, which I won't get into too much. If you're relatively new, there's a few people that are relatively new, so they are not aware of a lot of the things that I've been going through over the last year. But a lot of it is sort of it's not done. Like, the stuff that I'm dealing with, I'm still dealing with. But a lot of the emotion that is involved in it is like sort of recurring. It's just sort of doing this rebounding sort of thing. So it's kind of strange. But I'm okay. I don't want anybody to worry. I'm not like freaking out or anything. I'm not turning the stream off, and it's not like I hit end stream and then I just sit in a corner and cry until Monday when it's time to stream again. I don't want anybody to think that that's what's going on. I like to be open with everybody. I like to share my life with everybody in a more real way, because I don't want, you know, one of the most dangerous things that online content creators do, online personalities, online vloggers, all that stuff. One of the most dangerous things that they do is that they say that they try to be open with you, but then only share the fun times with you. Because the reason I say that's dangerous is because people watching, people who socialize through the internet, people who like to interact with these people will get this idea that their life is perfect. And that's sort of a dangerous thing to do when you're talking about someone who is projecting their life at you. You know, it's one thing for a celebrity, right? To watch them in movies and stuff, and you know, you don't think their life is perfect because you don't see their life. What you see is they are portraying characters on a screen somewhere. But when it comes to content creation like Twitch and stuff, where our personality and our real self is part of the entertainment, I want to make sure that everybody understands that we are human beings also, that we have ups and downs, that we are dealing with these things, and that sometimes we don't deal with them well. One of the worst things you can do, I'm going to tell you what one of the worst things you can do. I heard this quote a while ago, and it always stuck with me ever since then. Never compare your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. That's one of the most dangerous things you can do, because it is exactly like it sounds. You look at all of the stuff behind the scenes in your life. You look at the struggles that it takes to get you the things that you have. And then you look at somebody else and all you see is their achievements. And you think, oh, well, they have it easy. Yet you have no idea the kind of struggle that they go through, the prices that they paid to get some of those things. You know, you look at some of these big streamers, these streamers that have 10 and 20 and 30,000 viewers, and you think, oh man, I want that. And at the same time, you wonder, what did that cost? How many years of struggling did that take? How soon did they quit their job, and were they living off of ramen noodles, you know, 17-cent packs of ramen noodles 3 times a day for weeks because they were saving up money for new equipment. They were saving up money so that they could pay their bills while they were still growing their channel and whatnot. There's a lot of struggle that goes into it, but we don't see that. all we see is them at the very tippy top. And that's always very dangerous. You're still in purgatory, which sucks. Yeah, absolutely. Despite everything, Greg, I'm hopeful. It's fun to dunk on people who don't take the pandemic, other current problems seriously, I guess. But I don't judge humanity on its worst aspects for any change to occur. I wouldn't be alive if that were the case. Yeah, I don't, Gorilla. I don't know that I dunk on people for the pandemic. I make jokes from now and then, but I don't dunk on people for not taking the pandemic seriously. I am upset at people not taking the pandemic seriously. There's an analogy that hey, Real Edgy, there's an analogy that for anybody in school who or obviously most of us have been through some kind of school. If you've had a group project, if you've had like a 4-person group project, and if you're the one that does the work and the other 3 slack off, that is kind of what's happening, right? Like for all of us that we wear our masks, we social distance, we limit where we go, we limit how we interact with people. We do all of these things that we're supposed to do because we know that we know what the scientists are telling us is true, the doctors are telling us is true, and that this is a serious thing and it needs to be taken seriously. I feel anyway, that we could have been out of the worst of this a long time ago. But then there's the people who don't want to take it seriously. There's the people who are in the stores tearing down mask displays and stuff like that. There's the people out there marching because they don't want to wear masks. Those are the people. It may be fun to make a joke about them here and there, but the reality is their behavior is causing the rest of us who are taking it seriously to have to take it seriously a lot longer. That's my biggest problem. So, I talked about Round One, which is an arcade sort of entertainment venue. I would love to go there. I had just discovered Round One maybe 2 months before COVID started. And now I can't go. And now who knows when it's going to be open. And it's not because of anything I'm doing. And it's not even because of COVID. It's because people out there refuse to take it seriously, refuse to do all of the things that they need to do. And their behavior is affecting my ability to live my life. And that's what I have a problem with. Hold on, I'm going to double back here. True, but if you also entitled to your privacy, you should hold on to stuff. Oh yeah, Elements. And that's why I don't say every single thing. I Elements, I share with everybody the bullet points, but I don't share the details, because nobody needs to know the details. I wouldn't be alive if I had the nerve to do some of the stuff I wanted to do before this year. I understand. On the internet, nobody knows you're a bear or a bar, really, Latimer. Instead of hell, I hope that I find a way to fix things, even when it hurt. Never fail to reach out though. And I'm a little hypocritical there, but never fail to reach out. Now I'm on cookies. I dunk on people because they're basketball defense. Yeah, I listen. I'll dunk on anybody who can't D it up as long as the hoop is low, because I'm not much of a jumper and I'm a big guy. Greg, want a cookie? No, I do not want a cookie. And I'll tell you why I don't want a cookie is because I am still dieting, and I had my snack for today, which is sliced Bartlett pears in water. I had pears in water. I don't know how good of a snack it is. What do we got here? Total sugars 6 grams, no added sugar. So only the sugar that came with the fruit, which is very good. Like for the whole can, it looks like maybe 13% of my carbs for today. Some good fiber in here. We're doing all right. And a cookie will be an unhealthy snack for me.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.
That's why I filled out a character. I was 1 year away from going to the One Piece theme park. Yeah, you were going this year, man. That sucks. Dragoon Canadian, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome, Dragon Canadian. I'm sorry, Canadian. Dragon Canadian. Are you in Canada? Can I come live with you? I say you are Canadians from Canada or Canadians from Canada. Yep. And here I am eating candy. I feel bad. Hey, if you're not dieting, you can eat all the candy you want. I don't recommend you eat all the candy you want, or you're going to get to me and and you will end up having to diet. French Canadian. Okay, so I was gonna make a joke there, but I'm really not going to because I never really know how offensive that is. But I'm just gonna say bonjour, bonjour. Right? That's good, right? That's good French. No, go ahead. No, go ahead. I was gonna say bonjour, eh? But I didn't know if that's like, you see what I mean? So I did the French thing, I did the Canadian thing. Are they still building Super Nintendo World? I think they are. Oh, I'm eating donuts. Oh, you're getting me with the donuts now, though. I may have to break diet. There's like that one Casper movie, Can I Live With You? Oh my god. Yeah, that's the first Casper movie. I love that movie. That's a great movie. I don't think it's gonna happen. I'm that guy who eats a lot, but never. Oh, you're that guy. You know what? Real edgy. You high metabolism people make me sick. Now, drop a sub and get out of it. Oh, you're already sub. Never mind. No, then you can stay. Oh, that's it. I was expecting one. Dragon. That is the extent of my offensiveness. I have no problem not being offensive. With this whole this movement to clear our society of offensive terms and behaviors. There's a lot of people who are like, especially comedians. Oh, you can't even make a joke about anything nowadays. Listen, I feel like I can pump out a lot of humor without offending anybody. I feel like I've been doing it for a while. That's as offensive as I get. But I know that some people don't like that. I know that I love trying to do different accents and stuff. I like learning different words in different languages. But I know that some people actually do find that offensive. They find it offensive. I've heard of Canadian people that don't like the whole A thing, because they think that it's derivative, and it's that sort of humor. Like, oh, like when French people, like if you portray France in some sort of creative aspect, it's always the same thing, right? You can always see the Eiffel Tower in the background. There's always somebody playing the little squeeze box. They're wearing the beret with the striped shirt, and they're smoking a cigarette out of a long stick thing. Like, it's a very derivative idea of someone from France. And there are French people who are like, he's not really like that at all. When you go to Japan, it's not all Tokyo Tower and kimonos. It's just a lot. Oh yeah, I am. Damn Twitch auto renewal. Wow, that hurts my feelings. Yep. Thanks, real edgy. That hurt. If you pretend to be Canadian by putting the word govna in every sentence. I don't think govna is Canadian. Sensitivities change with the times and context matters. Yeah, absolutely. Let me tell you how to swear in Dutch. Listen, real edgy. I like learning how to swear in other languages, not to swear, but to make sure that I identify when somebody's swearing at me. That's like Spanish. I don't speak much Spanish, but I can tell you if you're cursing at me. I love it if Canadians say, yeah, right? Like just buy into the stereotype. Like I'd be that a-hole, right? I'd be the one, hey, True Blue. I'd be the one in Canada, like, oh my God, a moose. And I walk up to the moose and I'm like, hey moose, say A. If Shoda, if I could snap my fingers, if I could make a wish, if I could make like a genie wish, there are always two things that I would wish for. One of them is to be able to play any instrument with like master proficiency. I would love to play any instrument at all and be masterfully proficient at it. And the main wish though would be to read, write, speak, and understand every language on the planet. That would be, I feel like the world would open up to me completely if I could speak a language that everybody speaks, which is one of the reasons why I like the idea of being able to play music, because music speaks to every language, right? No matter what kind of music, no matter what instrument, whether it's hard, upbeat music, whether it is soft, melodic music, music speaks to everybody. If I could do that and I could literally communicate with everybody on the planet, oh my God, my world would just be it. That would be it. What about wishing for more wishes? True Blue, I wouldn't wish for more wishes because those are the only 2 wishes I have. I always think about it. I always think about money, I want to have a bunch of money or whatever like that. Realistically, those are the only 2 things I would ever really want: to be able to read, write, speak, and understand every language on the planet, and to play any instrument. I think that would be great. At one point I could do Megalovania on the piano. I'm working on that. I learned English, Spanish, sign language, and Mandarin Chinese. So far, I only know English, British, Australian, and Irish. No, and Canadian. Yeah, there we go. Those are my languages. That's what I know. All right. We're gonna get into the topics. Don't be such a governor. See, I don't know why I say that with the British, like the terrible British accent instead of a terrible Canadian accent. Okay, we're gonna get into our first topic here, and our first topic is the Nintendo leak. I'm gonna need your help with a lot of this topic. I know Philadelphian. Yeah, hold on. Let's exchange Philadelphian language. Get the hell out of my way. There we go. All right. So we didn't have a show last week because this thing had just broken. But I'm on the Reset Era page, but I'm going to need your help with a lot of this topic because I have a very limited understanding of what everything. I could go for a hoagie. Cheesesteak. Cheesesteak is that word. Oh, the hoagie counts too. There was some sort of massive leak, and I'm not familiar with the details of where this came from. I have heard different reports about where this came from. That this is information that was leaked a few months ago. That this is information that was leaked a couple of years ago, but has only now been cracked. I'm hearing multiple things about it. The only thing I do know is that it is massive. There's a lot of information. And before we talk about it, there is one topic that I want to discuss with this before we talk about the specifics of it. Do you think we should be talking about this? We keep using the word leak. We keep saying that. Nintendo leak. But from what I understand, this is information that was stolen. This is information that Nintendo got hacked and was stolen. This is not technically, if that's true, this is not technically a leak. This isn't an employee that released stuff, right? This is stolen information. So the question is, should we even be talking about that? And that's a question that I wanted to pose to you. Don't worry, we're going to talk about it. Do you think the leaks will have negative consequences? We'll talk about that because I think that I don't think it negative consequences. I think it's consequences, but not negative consequences. Not necessarily. It was terabytes of data from a good while. So it was like 2018, right? That's the year that I heard. I heard that it was 2018 that a whole bunch of information was stolen. Effectively, is what I had heard. Problem is, no one would really know if what the stuff was unless you work for the company at the time. It takes a while, which means it could have come from somebody who worked there and leaked it. So it could have, and I guess that's the idea, that we don't actually know what exactly happened. I like knowing stuff. No, we shouldn't. Shut the stream down. Everybody go home. I have a small theory. Nintendo was keeping all of this data, and suddenly it got released. Part of me wonders if Nintendo leaked it to get both attention so they could throw out the data. I always wonder that with leaks. Real edgy. I always wonder whether, like, when they talk about, oh, these things were leaked. And I always think, were they leaked or were they released anonymously, and it was actually the company? Because that's what happens, is this stuff people talk about this stuff. I don't think that's what this is. I don't think this is something that Nintendo did, because none of this information benefits them in any way whatsoever. None of this information being out helps them with games that are coming out, with information that they are going to release soon, with new products or anything. None of this information being out benefits them in any way whatsoever. Of course, it doesn't technically hurt them either, with the exception of some of the coding for some of the devices. I heard there was like one of these things is like BIOS information for certain things like the GBA. That stuff is kind of bad for them because when that gets into when that gets into the hands of emulators, emulators are going to be better. And that for them, from their perspective, they would have a hard time selling us GBA games on their systems, on their current platforms, if we can just emulate them perfectly. So that's always real dangerous for them. What leak is it? It's a lot of stuff. Yeah, obviously the personal information is not something that should be out. It's not something that should be out. Oh, well, do they still sell GBA? Real edgy, no. But they do try and sell us apps on the Switch Online to play games. Super Nintendo apps. Who's to say that they weren't... yeah, they're not selling us GBA games since the Wii U. But who's to say that they aren't planning a GBA app? For GBA. Because let's be honest, raise your hand if Nintendo Switch says, hey, Nintendo Switch Online GBA app. Boom. Right? I'm there. There's a lot of games on the GBA that are worth it. I still don't think it's that dangerous for it, but I'm looking at it from their perspective. I'm trying to see what danger they might see in it. And that, to me, is the only real danger they might see in it. The same thing with like 64 BIOS and stuff like that. But I feel like those have been cracked a long time ago. Nintendo did shut down that Mario Dreams game. And I don't know, maybe they leaked it themselves. Maybe they did. It's real edgy. I just don't think they did because this stuff doesn't benefit them. And everybody's right in what they're saying, that a lot of personal information was also leaked. So that would be extremely careless of them to do. That would be irresponsible for them to do. So I don't believe that they did this on purpose. Years ago, GBA, yeah. Not just GBA emulations are, yeah, GBA emulations are already pretty perfect. So it's not really, it's not really dangerous. Like I said, I'm just looking at it from what they might say. What would a boardroom full of upset people scream about? And that's the sort of thing they would scream about. By the way, the 3DS Mario 64 port is great. Jump back a little bit here. They wouldn't have linked info contained to yeah, exactly. They would be in serious trouble. This is a really good silver lining topic since we're talking about the silver lining of these leaks. Yeah, so that was the first thing I wanted to discuss, was whether or not this is the sort of thing that should be discussed, because we're still in question as to how exactly the information was obtained, whether or not that has anything to do with it. Has that affected your desire to look up some of this information? It's sort of like going to an art museum where you find out that all of the pieces of artwork were stolen from another museum. Do you support that museum? That's the sort of that's the sort of way my mind works, is that's how I see it. Hey, Ronan. Yeah, on the one hand, some of the information is old, and exactly, and that's the thing. Some of this information is relatively old. It's about old stuff that isn't relevant anymore, but it was most likely hacked or stolen information. So there's a questionability in it. But now that we've asked the obligatory question of whether or not we should talk about it, let's talk about it. So what I have here is a Reset Era forum that is showing a lot of this stuff. I don't know if this is everything. I can't find a comprehensive video on everything, because my understanding is that Nintendo is taking down anybody that is showing this footage, that is showing these images or anything like that. Anything Star Fox related, I'm fine with. I'm gonna go through this list as it is here, and then we'll talk about specifics. And then I'll ask you, I'm going to go through the list, and then I want to ask you if there's any specifics that you would like to discuss. Because some of this is interesting to me, some of it's not. Some of it just doesn't even feel really relevant. Okay. So we've got first of all, there's a crap load of folders here. Actually, here, hold on. Let me do this. Let me copy, and then we're going to paste. So that's what I'm looking at right now. So when you open that up, that should be the first thing that's there. So there's a crap load of folders here. I mean, there's folders labeled a whole bunch of different things, Star Fox 64. These look like a lot of Nintendo 64 games. These look like ROMs for games. So that's kind of wild, right? That right there, it would piss off Nintendo. Absolutely. Big burly man arriving here. Dude, Durst wearing Shy Guy masks. Who is it? Here we go. Maybe they were switched for. And yeah, and that's exactly the thing with these ROMs is that maybe they were planning N64 games, an N64 app, and that's where these ROMs came from. We don't know. But yeah, it looks like a ton of stuff here. So it's all these ROMs and everything, right? Then we've got contents of the leak. Okay, so I'm going to read this off. So we have full development repository for Insata official DS emulator. This is a repository for an official DS emulator. Oh, their source code. Nintendo's notorious and keep it. Okay. So they have it. Okay, so that's good then. So this is basically just an archive of some sort. An archive of what looks like a good chunk of their first party games. This Insata official DS emulator information is interesting because that would bring I don't know what the state of DS emulation is right now, but that's kind of big. Development repository for Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. Development repository for Diamond and Pearl ending in March of 2006. So I don't know what the difference is for those. Development DR. I'm going to say DR from now on. I'm not going to say development repository every time. DR for a Diamond and Pearl dev. That's kind of interesting. Full DR for Netcard, a canceled GBA peripheral. Does anybody know what that is? I mean, it sounds like an internet accessing card, sort of like a net card because it's called net card. Like, what was it? Netlink. It sounds like a Netlink for GBA, where you plug it into your GBA. This is me hypothesizing here. A network card for your GBA so that you can trade Pokemon over the internet, so that you can play online games over the internet, 2-player games. That's kind of cool. Yeah, it makes sense. It sounds like a net card, right? We have no idea what it was. Probably something similar to the cell phone kind of adapter that GBC had for. Yeah, and you know what's funny is that there's the first thing listed is a DS emulator, and then a bunch of Diamond and Pearl stuff, and then a GBA peripheral. It makes me feel like it would have been something tandem with Pokemon. That's sort of what it makes it feel like. Whatever that card was, bet it would not have hit Europe. But you know what, Mr. L? It was either going to come out here or Europe. It wouldn't have been both. That's always how it works. IQ GBA stuff. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's just a table of contents sort of thing. The DR for the Game Boy Advance BIOS. Very interesting. DR for Game Boy Color boot ROM. That's kind of cool. Now, one of the things I like, so let's talk about, look, Ryan is itching. One of the things I like about this Game Boy Color boot ROM is that if you make homebrew Game Boy games, you can make sure that they absolutely 100% work on an actual Game Boy. That's kind of cool. Full master ROM database, American and Japan, not Europe, for Famicom and NES, including ROMs. And I mean everything. There's even Nintendo World Championships 1990. This is... Oh, it was a Chinese brand. Okay, so that was so IQ GBA stuff. Okay. So, full master ROM database. This is a full list of fully functional, not rebuilt ROMs for that. That's kind of amazing. Right? Like, I didn't know that was there. That's kind of amazing because we don't know I'm sure a lot of us have played emulators where the ROMs don't work perfectly or something. That's kind of awesome. I kind of like that that's there. Master ROM. Okay, so then we're gonna break it down a little bit more. Yes, it really is like finding a treasure chest, right? So basically, uncompiled ROMs. That's kind of awesome, man. A master ROM. Come on, doesn't tell me this doesn't sound cool. A master ROM for Super Mario RPG. What? So they're just sitting on this entire ROM library and not selling them and giving it to Elements. Yes, that is also something I thought about too. Right when I read that, I was like, wait a minute. So they have all these ROMs, and they're bitching about how many games they put on the Nintendo Switch online app. You've got all the ROMs. It's free money. It really is. So the Master ROM of Super Mario RPG, kind of cool. Okay, so now we're gonna get into this is like a hot list. Like, this is the lightning round. Source code 2, Star Fox 2, Link's Awakening, including a Link's Awakening DX, including a Link's Awakening DX bug report. Source code to Wild Tracks Stunt Race FX. I think it was called Wild Tracks in Japan. Stunt Race FX. Yoshi's Island, Mario Kart, F-Zero, Link to the Past. Not that we need it anymore because they have Link to the Past working in a randomizer. So obviously they figured that one out. Mario All-Stars. Whether or not it includes Mario World, we don't know. A Link to the Past dev stuff and bug reports. Kind of cool, man. Kind of cool. Again, understand, a lot of this is stuff that we've probably already figured out, right? So it's not groundbreaking. It's just really interesting. Source code to the Wii Virtual Console Game Boy emulator. Some weird prototype games. Super Donkey from early 1993. Oh, that was the Yoshi's Island style game. So there was a game. Wait, Wii Virtual Console was going to have Game Boy games. I'm looking at it right here. It says source code to the Wii Virtual Console Game Boy emulator. What? You didn't do that? So this Yoshi, it was like a Yoshi's Island prototype or something with a weird character in it. That's very interesting. I would love to show footage of it. I'm like, we're not exactly a giant channel here, but at the same time, I don't want to poke the bear, so I'm not going to show any of this stuff. A Super Mario Kart prototype, which I did see footage of, and it looks like a prototype. Full development repository for a tool to update titles to the Wii Shop channel. Kind of sad. Rest in peace, Wii Shop channel. Wallpaper password maker source code. I would love to know what that is. Random test program source code. Some early 1990s tape backups, which that could be anything. Several there are several Super Mario World 2 prototypes. No poking the bear. Let us buy your stiff. Mr. L, listen. My stiff is not for sale online. E-ticket signing keys for an unknown system. That could be a system that was in development that became something else. That could be a system that never came out. Private and public keys for various arcade manufacturers. Game Boy Advance and Iris. An early 2003 era DS prototype with one screen. So OS. Board document. Oh wow! So this is documentation for a sort of DS type system, but it only had one screen. Basically, yeah. I was gonna say basically a GBA 2. Huh. I feel like was it Brent Remulo, the clip with the kid on the computer? He's like, so a PSP. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we're talking about leak. There's a leak in the boat. Hold on a second here. Tons and tons of CAD documents in general relating to Nintendo products. Wii private keys. That might be a little dangerous. ESFS source code. some sort of P2P voice chat, possibly. And then there's a couple other things here. ARM toolchain patches, netcard GBA stuff, Hamtaro, Hams Unite debug build, Super FX test program. So Brent, is it Brent Remulo? I think that's the name. I think that's what it is there. Why do they have that? Yeah, that sounds like, you know what's funny? At the beginning, you're like, whoa, N64 ROMs. And then you look at, oh my God, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl stuff, netcard stuff, source codes for all these SNES games. And by the end, it feels like, all right, here they come. Just grab stuff and run out. So yeah, so there's and then inside all of this stuff is a lot of information. There's pictures of character models that weren't used. There's a different version of Yoshi. I'll let you look all of this stuff up if you haven't already seen a lot of it. Various character designs from different kinds of games. We saw that Star Fox 2 was going to have a human character, which I don't think they ever turned around to include a human character, right? Star Fox is all animal characters. I think most of us have seen most of the pictures and stuff. So there's a Super FX chip model of Link, which I wouldn't mind seeing that. I'm looking at a lot of what looks like development footage for Ocarina of Time. There looks like there's some pictures here. If you're on the Reset Era page like I am, you can see. It looks like there's some development pictures of what is probably Animal Forest. There goes some of that Mario Kart information, Wave Race stuff. Who cares? Sorry, Wave Race fans. I don't care. Different, I guess, rejected Star Fox logos. This is kind of cool that there's a lot of these Star Fox logos. Different designs and artwork for Captain Falcon. That looks like a prototype. Oh, the Wiimote prototype picture. If you look at this, is a great looking picture here. Star Fox with a human character. Sounds like my erotic fanfic. Yeah, right. Can I be a human? Is Crystal there? Some sort of 3D modeling for Yoshi, which I'm assuming this is a 3D model that was possibly going to be in Mario 64. Mario with wings, which is very cool. I want to picture this Mario with wings with a Red Bull in his hand. Bunch of stuff. Here goes the pictures of the Star Fox information. Some pieced together sprites from different games. That weird Bowser that is like all green. And a Yoshi, like an old man Yoshi. Oh, I like this old man Yoshi. That's kind of cool. Mario gives you wings. And the big one that people are talking about, Ryan, I hope you're ready, is it turns out there was actually a model for Luigi in Mario 64. That was always a rumor. When Mario 64 was the hot thing, when that was the big thing, there was always talk about, oh, there's a way to play as Luigi. Like a lot of the older gamers will remember, like, oh, you have to beat Street Fighter 2 without dying and perfects, and you get to fight Shang Tsung in the end. There's always those sorts of rumors. Mario 64 was like that. Mario 64 had a lot of rumors where you were supposed to beat the whole game and not do this or collect everything or do it in a certain amount of time. There were a whole lot of rumors, and then the rumor was that if you did those things, if you met those criteria is Metroid. You would be able to play through the game as Luigi. Miyamoto and Iwata years later confirmed Luigi was going to be part of a 2-player mode of Mario 64, but it was scrapped in planning due to hardware limitations. We didn't know there was an actual model. Yeah, and that's the thing. We never know how far the development goes for some of these things, and it's fascinating to see. One of the things that I'm fascinated with is, would he have played differently? This is Hero, go to the page, go to Reset Era. I won't guide you there, or I actually already guided you there. Yeah, go and you can see all of the stuff there. What I'm interested in is, would he have played differently? Since since Mario 2, Doki Doki Mario 2, we have had that's where the idea of Peach flying or floating and Luigi jumping really high, that's where it came from. So obviously that could have been a thing in this game. I'm curious to know, would Luigi have played differently, or would it just have looked differently? Would he have jumped higher? How much would a Luigi that jumps higher break the game? Oh my God, that's the sort of stuff we're never gonna know, right? That's so sad. This is equivalent to actually finding Mew under a bus, yeah, or stealing him. We demand the original plan Luigi to be playable in the remaster. Shame, I would have done what? Maybe just enough to separate him from Mario. Yeah, I wonder how different it would have been. Do you think the Luigi in Mario 64 DS is based off of this planned appearance in the original game? That's an interesting question. I didn't play Mario 64 at all. I didn't play the DS version either. Does he play differently in the DS version? Because that's a fascinating idea. Between Luigi now and the PC 64 mod making it look like the promotional art, it's a good time to like Mario 64. Yeah, pretty much. I thought Lost Levels started Luigi jumping higher. No, I think, wasn't Lost Levels Luigi still just Luigi? Wasn't it still just color swapped Mario? This render the stained glass. I do like that. There's the stained glass window. Plays very different. Are there any leaks for Sunshine? I don't know. None of this so far seems to be anything past N64 or some of those things. Like I haven't seen any GameCube leaked information or anything like that. Oh, he plays different in Lost Levels. He jumps higher and lower traction. So that is the Mario Doki Doki Mario 2 Luigi. Which of those games came out first? That's interesting. What came out first? Doki Doki Mario 2 or Lost Levels? It's at least Wario 4. Because yeah, I would have assumed that Lost Levels came out first because it is an older graphic style. I found Regigigas sprite. Lost Levels came out first. Okay, so yeah, so the Lost Levels is where the alternate Luigi started from. Okay, so that makes sense. I apologize. I've never played Lost Levels. I played the first 4 stages and hated it. It was, I don't know. I was a lot younger and it was way hard, man. All the beta Pokemon Data and Pearl sprites are wild. Yeah, I think there's 1 or 2 pictures of some of those in there. If it's Lost Levels, then it's a Super Nintendo port. So it's the other way in original Mario 2. It said that Super Mario 2 is where Luigi could jump higher, but was slower and no traction. Okay, so yeah, so then it was Mario 2, which we called Lost Levels. June 3rd, 1986 was Lost Levels. Mario 2 was 88. Okay, so that makes sense. Never played Lost Levels as pure evil. But yeah, Luigi was found 24 years and 1 month after the original release. L is real. L is real. Who is L? Who is he? We don't know. Mr. L, who are you? So yeah, so I mean, this is all fascinating stuff, man. This is all very fascinating. None of this damages Nintendo. None of this is dangerous information to have leaked. None of it is really relevant to anything that they're currently doing, with the exception of if they were going to release some of this stuff as Nintendo Switch apps. So I don't think any of this is dangerous. So that's why when I talked in the beginning about should we be talking about it, I don't think it's bad to be talking about this, because none of it is dangerous. None of it is harmful to Nintendo. This isn't costing them any money. There's just historical value. Later, Real Edgy, have a good one. We're going to mess around in VR. Have a good one, Real Edgy. I will see you next time. Hopefully. Yeah, it's just historical value. It's just interesting. It's always fascinating. I'm going to be honest. One of the most fascinating things that I find about all of this is that it was there in the first place. How many times do we hear source code is lost on older games. Source code is deleted on older games. It is fascinating that somewhere in Nintendo's archives, all of this stuff is there. Imagine breaking into Area 51 and then coming out and you've got an alien hand, right? It's got DNA you can't identify. It looks alien. Everything it was surgically removed. It makes you wonder, like that alone is fascinating, but then it makes you wonder, wow, what else is there? I think about all of this stuff and that's I see it all and I think if they got all of this, what's there? What is still in their archives? It's so interesting, and that's when my mind starts like, oh my god, they've got the source code to everything. Please play Lost Levels as pure evil. Nintendo 1 has the Sonic 1 beta. There's a Sonic, oh my god. Blam. Imagine, open your mind, Quaid, to the possibilities that somewhere in Nintendo's deep archive, Sega was considering third-partying Sonic, and there is a Sonic the Hedgehog NES ROM. Just imagine. Do I have a good hold on. Do I have a good clip for that? Let's see if I have to like just imagine. I want you to imagine what it would be like if there's a Sonic the Hedgehog NES ROM out there. The secret handshake, Sega and Nintendo swap master ROMs. Could you? Hey, that's not a bad idea. Listen, if Luffy and Odin not Luffy, what the hell was his name? What was the king of the ice people, the ice giants? If they swapped kids, why not Nintendo? What if there's a ROM of Mario 1 on the Genesis out there? What? Galaxy Brain. Imagine Nintendo has the Final Fantasy VII N64 prototype. Yikes. Now the personal info. Yeah. The personal info, and that's and the fact that there was personal info involved in all of this is what tells me Nintendo didn't do this on purpose. There's no benefit for them doing this on purpose at all. Even if there was a benefit to them doing this, they leaked personal information that is a significant, very suable liability on their part. Yeah, so there's no way I think they did this on purpose. But just imagine if I made that leaked Luigi model my icon, would Nintendo strike my accounts? Mr. L, there's actually been some speculation on that. I've heard people talking about that. If they turn some of these items into their logos, if they turn them into emotes, if they turn them into sprites that they use in their games, how much liability is there? And a lot of people are very nervous about that. A lot of people are very concerned with the idea that if they take, Linky made Falco an icon. There's to me a genuine amount of concern that Nintendo could say you're using our icon, you're using something from stolen information. That's questionable. You know, there's a lot of, there could be some liability in there. He made an emote. I'm sorry. Yeah, I want to make sure that I specify correctly. Icon is you. The emote is what you're offering to your viewership. And then there's the Bowser running gif. There's the Bowser outside of the clown car. There's a complete body Bowser outside of the clown car. Yeah, Nintendo's very picky. When last year or the year before, Nintendo sued Love ROMs. They sued them for what everybody assumed was, hey, Sally, I'll play that in a second. They assumed that Nintendo sued Love ROMs because they were sharing their ROMs. And I pointed out, because a lot of people didn't seem to know this about Love ROMs, when there are a lot of ROM sites out there that were trading ROMs for Nintendo ROMs from different systems. Love ROMs was using Nintendo characters and sprites and IP on their website. When you went to the website, there were like it was Love ROMs that was using it. Emu Haven closed down right after because they were worried. Emu Haven shut their stuff down because they were concerned. But Love ROMs was the one that when you went to their website, like their logo was piranha plants and stuff. They had little Mario characters jumping around, and they were using a lot of Nintendo IP as their branding. That's what Nintendo sued them for. I am 100% convinced of that. Nintendo didn't sue them for ROMs because there's a lot of ROM sites out there that were trading Nintendo ROMs and they didn't care. They were using Nintendo branding on their own branding. That they do not like. They are way against that. But quick Gonzalez to break. Emu Paradise. That's what it is. Emu Paradise. I'm sorry. Yay, I did it. Sakura's YouTube playlist on YouTube regarding Smash. Oh boy, well we'll talk about that one later. I miss Emu Paradise. Yeah, I like emus too. I can just search for pictures of them. If suddenly vanished from your sub list, you will know what happened. They sue for renting manuals in Blockbuster. I'm trying to make candles, but I'm stumped for ideas. I don't know. Edible ass? I don't know. Remember when they found Sonic 3 1993 prototype with the unused music to Carnival Night, Launch Base, and Ice Cap? People thought was lame in the PC version. I remember that. Wasn't that like the complete version of the game or something? People were asking me to play that game too. Hey Jesus, how you doing? Edible ass. The PC version of Sonic and Knuckles, but running on the Mega Drive hardware made the music make sense. Yeah. That's the sort of stuff that's interesting. I like that. That's fun. A lot of this stuff here, like the source code that got released, I'm interested to see what that source code does to emulating some of these games, especially when you look at where is it here? It's there was something about there's a Super FX test program, and then there's the source code to Wild Track Stunt Race FX. I wonder if that source code will help Super FX games run better. Will allow us to adjust them to make Super FX games. It's so fascinating. Imagine a massive leak of Smash 64. Imagine finding out all of the characters that would have been in Smash 64 but weren't due to memory constraints. Oh, that's so interesting. It was just after the Sega split Sonic 3 and Knuckles and before Michael Jackson joined the team. More than likely, Gracious, it's probably how the SFX chip works. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if that source code leads to the ability to imagine being able to use modern tech and develop true Super FX chip games. It would just be kind of interesting. Sakurai said a few that were supposed to be in Smash Brothers: Bowser, Peach, Sigurd from Fire Emblem. Oh my God! Even a Fire Emblem character made it. Well, I guess a Fire Emblem character made it before. Wasn't Roy? Roy was in Smash Brothers, right? Smash 64. Telling me the Smash was untouched during the leaks. Sandox, I feel like this leak, considering how unfocused it feels, I do feel like this leak was pretty much, we got in, grab what we can. I absolutely think that is what happened here. That it was, we got into the programs, they're going to find us soon, grab all the folders you can, and then that's why some of these folders are related, right? That's why you got source code to a bunch of SNES games and just SNES games. That's why you got all of the NES and Famicom ROMs in one shot, because they jumped in, they grabbed folders, and they just had to get out, right? Like a hacker man. Hold on. Oh, actually, I meant to share this with you all. I actually have, so this is not, I don't want to show any of this actual information. I don't want to show any of the images and stuff because I don't want to get into trouble. But I do have actual footage. Now, this is, be careful now. I don't want you all to get in trouble. But I have actual footage of the hackers getting this information. Now, this is for your eyes only. So I don't want you sharing all of this everywhere. But this is actual security camera footage of the hackers at work. Chilling stuff. Chilling. Just, I mean, when you hear about these things, you see these things. But when you see them in action, and you see these these hooligans, right? These despots, when you see them behave that way, it's hurtful. Nintendo Ninja's gonna be mad. This is Uncle Silver on the ground here with exclusive footage. Now I'm gonna have nightmares. So you know, there it is. The archiving company that was storing the info was so fire. Oh my god, yeah, I imagine so. Greg should have his own news channel. So finally, I wanted to ask you: is there anything that all of you found particularly interesting? Is there anything that you would like to experience out of these, since there is like ROMs and stuff like that? Is there anything that you found, like, because a lot of this stuff, like, I'm sure nobody was amazed when Stunt Race FX source code was released, right? Like, nobody cares. But is there anything here that you heard that you did say, like, oh my god, really? I'll be honest with you. The full NES and Famicom library is kind of amazing to me. That's kind of wild that was there. The uncompressed Mario and Star Fox clips, absolutely. That's really cool. I like that. I wouldn't mind using one of those as an alert, but I don't want to get in trouble. A DS with just a touchscreen. Yeah, a single screen DS, or as I call it, the OS. Or would it be SS? Would it be SS? Would it be one screen? Because it was dual screen. That's what DS stood for, was dual screen. So I guess it would be single screen. Have you seen that? No, I don't think that was in the leaks. Jesus. No, I have not, though. I have not. Clean version. So long again, Bowser. Oh yeah, what did he actually say? What does he actually say in that clean clip now? Because let's face it, that line isn't going anywhere, Ryan. The mini DS, yeah, that's kind of fascinating. The single screen GBA 2, it really is. Oh, so long, Bowser. Oh, okay, so that's what he says, but it came out as I guess so. Yeah, only found out about the NES Famicom ROM library now, but yeah, and isn't that the most interesting thing? I'm interested in this source code to link to the past. I would like to see what people can do with it. I'm interested in the bug reports to see at the time of those bug reports what was there, what might still be there that we didn't find out. I'll tell you what it doesn't say. Yeah, oh my, Ryan. There you go. That's another amazing, like, would have been an amazing find. Ports of the CDI games. How about Martin Smart? I'll take. Oh, what the hell's his name? Oh my god. Dimitri. No, not Dimitri Martin. Charles Martinet. Martinet. There we go. I am saying it wrong. Martinet. I'm sorry, not Martine. The info is all pretty amazing. Well, we already know that the fact it leaked upset Nintendo. This no one using the stuff. Yeah, and I worry they may grow even tighter. That, to me, is the big change. Somebody asked earlier what I think, like, this what would the outcome of all of this be. There's a spoiler I don't want to say in Dark Fate. I know enough about it. I won't talk about it here just in case for some reason somebody else wants to watch it. But I do know some stuff about Dark Fate, which I just one of the reasons I didn't bother seeing it. They kind of destroyed that whole franchise after 3. I like 3. A lot of people think 2 is the best one. 2 is the best one, but I really liked Terminator 3. But after that, it just got stupid. Just referring to the talk yesterday of how killing humanity isn't inherently wrong. Not, it's no. Jesus, it's inherently wrong. It's probably not the wrong thing to do, though. Inherently, it's wrong and it sucks. But that's another thing. Pushing back all of 2020 games just to punish us. We think we don't even know what's happened in 2020. No. One of the things that is a possible outcome of all of this, which I'm sure has already happened, is that their security around these things gets a lot tighter. That they become a lot more tight-lipped about the things that they share with us, so they limit how much information they share. These are, the worst thing about breaking into a room is that when they close the door again, they're going to double lock it. So that's the sort of concern that's the sort of concern that we've probably already seen, is that they're going to be more tight-lipped about how they share information and about who they share information with, which means that some of this early info that we get might not be available anymore. Look, Sigma did nothing wrong. Yeah, triple locks at this point. They hate data miners breaking apart what they do. Give it to. Yeah. So what happens when? Because let's be honest, one of the easiest ways nowadays to fight data miners is to just not have that information in your game. We talk about DLC a lot here. We talk about whether or not you like DLC, whether or not DLC is the way gaming should be going. But if they need to be concerned with things like data miners ripping their games apart before the game even comes out, the easiest way for them to avoid that is to release half games and then DLC later, which sucks. None of us like that. When it comes to certain types of games, none of us like that gating of content. So that's an easy way for them to avoid things like data miners. And if they suddenly feel, if they're suddenly clutching their purse a little closer to them than usual, one of the ways for them to combat that is probably for them to say, you know what, from now on, we're going to release games and that's going to be it. And then we'll release DLC. And then we all are stuck having to deal with that. Sakurai learned the hard way with Roy and Ryu in Smash 4. A combo that was spending more money on internet security. Even releasing a demo is risky since hackers data mine the leaks or even updates to games. But we also have tabs on them now, so we can query them on their business practices. EA Sports. It's in the game. It's not even the people looking at the data that may be the problem. It's the ones who use the data later. Exactly. That's my biggest concern with all of this information being leaked. Because if this information was stolen 2 years ago, the rumor that I heard was that there was a massive thing like 2 years ago, and that's what all of this is. They might have had encryption on a lot of this stuff. That means that whatever encryption they were using has been cracked. So that means that they need to now re-secure all of their stuff. Kingdom Hearts 3 leaks just suck. EA Sports big. Oh, yeah. If they put some of the early builds up on the online services, fans would eat it up. Yeah, I think so. I think that this is an opportunity for them to say, listen, here's what Nintendo can do. This is what Nintendo can do right now. Obviously, they can do nothing. Obviously, they're gonna tighten up their doors. They're gonna lock the doors a little harder now. What they can do with all of this stuff is they can say, hi, we understand that a lot of this information was stolen, and we understand that you find it all fascinating. So what we would like to do, since it has already been leaked, is to share it with you. We would like to sit down and discuss certain things. We would like to talk about, we at Nintendo would like to talk about the information that was released, what was contained within it, and why we keep some of this stuff, and why some of this stuff is interesting, and turn it into a conversation with everybody. When you talk about the game book, because that's a big one, right? Is the single screen, I'm just going to call it GBA 2. Talk about that. Sit down with us, and instead of saying, hey, you, stop talking about that and get your damn hands off, or sorry, that's a Back to the Future reference. Instead of doing that, turn it into a conversation. Sit down with us, have those Nintendo Power episodes, because they do that Nintendo Power podcast thing that they do, and have the Nintendo Power podcast is probably not something that a ton of people listen to right now. But if you say on the next episode of Nintendo Podcast, we're going to discuss the leak that was out there. Nintendo has a statement that they would like to release, and they have allowed us to discuss the single screen Nintendo DS that was in development. We're going to sit down with one of the developers that was on that team. Everybody in this chat right now would tune in to that episode, because not only would that be Nintendo is loosening the reins a little bit and loosening up a little bit, but this is an opportunity to listen to a developer talk about a piece of technology that never got released, and we get to listen to this behind the scenes info. It would be the best thing they can do. Not only would it be interesting, it would be an amazing PR move on their part, because notoriously they are not forthcoming about this kind of information. Yeah, even Sega is willing to open its lips when this stuff happens. I would tune into that. Nintendo Power Magazine had a segment that had behind the scene info. Unbelievable, right? Oh yeah, it did. Classified section. It was like classified section, I think it was called. I think future indie developers would love. Absolutely. It would be nice, but I don't think they can legally. Yeah, I think that's the problem. Is legally they can't do that. This is 2020 Nintendo. Their idea of good PR is throwing Way Forward under the bus. Nintendo would send hitmen to the leakers' homes. Yeah, if they haven't gotten there already, right? Could you imagine the hitmen from Nintendo, but they're all dressed like Howard Phillips? It's like Howard Phillips and Nestor. Old reference. Hands up if you know what I'm talking about. Hey, they paid for that spot. Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, give it. Let someone like Video Game History. What's the one channel that used to do the historic video game stuff? They're dressed like Mario. Yeah, they're dressed like Mario and Luigi. Oh my God, what is the? Wait, what was that? Hold on. Oh wow, Howard Phillips and a Shy Guy mask. Nestor's Funky Bowling. I've been watching a lot of someone show off a lot of magazines, including Nintendo Power. Yeah, that would be kind of cool. I wanted to collect a bunch of Nintendo Powers again and just flip through them. I remember we were talking about that. We were talking about an ASMR show where I like ASMR where I flip through with camera down on the magazine, and we flip through old Nintendo Powers, and I talk about, because I had Nintendo Power. I was the nerdy kid who had the Nintendo newsletter, the Nintendo Fun Club newsletter. It was like 6 issues of that, and then I had Nintendo Power for like the first 50 or 60 issues. I keep saying episodes. So it'd be cool, ASMR sort of, flip through Nintendo Powers. I think I may actually do that at some point. Game Hub? No, Beta 64. I don't know. It wasn't Gaming Historian. I think Norm the Gaming Historian had something to do with the show. I don't remember what it was. All toasters toast. Yeah, that's true. Well, no, not broken toasters. Honestly, seeing a full Nintendo Power magazine, going through it with someone on stream, I understand the NES hype for. Yeah, it was kind of wild, man. Did you ever click Nintendo Power Advanced? I don't believe so. Hold on. What was Nintendo Power Advanced? I had Nintendo Power. No, not My Life in Gaming. I love My Life in Gaming. That's a great channel. If I find it, I'll mention it to you. All broken toasters toast bread. No, I don't know what Nintendo Power was. I had Nintendo Power, and then there were there was that summer issues where it was like strategy guides. There was a 4-player strategy guide, which was a strategy guide for a bunch of 4-player games. There was the Ninja Gaiden 2 strategy guide. There was the Mario 3 strategy guide, which I read front to back. And then the Final Fantasy strategy guide, which I also read front to back multiple times. Weird little tidbit about my life. The Final Fantasy strategy guide that came out from Nintendo Power was in my bathroom for years, and that was a toilet read for me. I would just flip through it all the time. Look up old UK mags and all the salt over the games we didn't get access to. Oh god. Well, Nintendo Power every once in a while showed Japanese games, and it did kind of piss me off. I remember being pissed off when I saw Final Fantasy IV screenshots, and it was going to be months until we got Final Fantasy IV/2. A lot of what we know about Hidden Palace Zone and Genocide Zone and Genocide City in Sonic 2, because not just the artists and devs talked about it, but Yuji Naka himself. That stuff is interesting, man. People love that stuff. Power Advance covered... Oh, Game Boy Advance. No, okay, so I did not have that. I was out of Nintendo Power by then. That was, my parents paid for that. I would call the Nintendo Power hotline and they paid for that. But those are the Nintendo leaks. I think it's very fascinating. I think more information is going to come out slowly but surely. We're definitely going to see a lot more. It was enjoyable seeing PC Engine Mag. Yeah, Elements. I think I'm going to do that at some point. But it was it's entertaining seeing all of this stuff come out. It's very fascinating, and I think we can all agree. I think I can agree that the best thing to come out of these leaks was this picture that I made right here. But you're playing a game. You're walking around. You're going through the story. And then all of a sudden, you get to a certain part of the story. And what happens? Your next objective is 4 areas ago. So you got to backtrack. This is a topic that came up on Twitter sort of by accident. It was a screen. It was an image that somebody made that was funny. I thought it was funny. A lot of people thought it was funny. And then it sparked a very interesting topic. I know that image is a meme, but it looks like you. It made for an interesting topic. I had to blast past because I put them in the wrong order. So this was the image that was posted, and it is posted by I can see the name on there. I apologize. I can't see the name. If anybody knows exactly the Twitter user's name, you could say that here. So this is not a topic about Paper Mario. I want to make that clear. This is not a topic about Thousand Year Door, but Mario is looking back. He says, "Oh my God!" So it was all backtracking, and what's his name is there. It says it always has been. This started may I show you a lot of the emotes that I have at my disposal? You're more than welcome to, absolutely. This started an interesting topic in the comment section of this picture because some people were kind of pissed off because people thought that they were getting mad at Thousand Year Door. And then of course there were the people defending Thousand Year Door. But it made me think about something. It made me question something, and it's not necessarily just Thousand Year Door. My question is, how much backtracking is too much? Do you like backtracking? What do you consider backtracking? Because there are different ideas about what backtracking can mean for a game. I think the most obvious version of backtracking that a lot of people think of is having to slog through, having to slog through old areas to get to new objectives, having to go through an entire area. This is something that has been dampened significantly with things like fast travel. When you talk about games, if the game requires me to go through the same area again just to progress, is backtracking. Well, Ryan, this is why I wanted to bring this up because there's a bit of a distinction here that needs to be made. In the original Metroid required you to go back through an area all the way to get to different areas. Metroidvanias are big with this. Metroidvanias are very big with this. You have to go and, okay, Elements, we're not talking about cleanup. I'm not talking about cleanup. I'm talking about progressing through the story. I'm talking about I have reached this objective and now I am required to go all the way back through multiple areas to get to where the new thing is. Now, Metroidvanias are big with this. Well, I like some of those. I like the Tonberry. Metroidvanias are big with this because Metroidvanias are very often gated by traversal. You have to go all of this way to get a double jump and then come all the way back, and then from there you'll get access to the new area. So Metroidvanias are very rampant with this. This has been dampened significantly in modern gaming by one simple thing, which is fast travel, teleports, things to different areas. Why is my chat not updating? The chat is updating on the stream, and I can't see what is happening. Oh, crap. Hold on. Let me refresh this page here. Maybe see if that fixes it. All right. Everybody type something. Okay, there we go. Looks like we got to backtrack. Crap. There we go. Test again. Okay, so I'm seeing it now. It's working on stream. It wasn't working on my feed. So things like fast travel have helped dampen that. But now, and this is why, Ryan, this is why I say I wanted to clarify something. If you go through an area and you do whatever you have to do and you leave and then you go to another area and then the new area gives you an item and says you have to go back, but it gives you a fast travel right back to the last point that you were in the original area. Do you consider that backtracking? Because now you're not traveling through the original area, but you are going to the original area. So it's a sort of weird kind of distinction as to what counts as backtracking and what doesn't. Because there are some people who think that backtracking means going to that same area and seeing that same environment, even if you're seeing new parts of that area. I don't think that. I think that backtracking means you have to walk through all of the areas that you've been through before. That's what backtracking is to me. I also don't include, like I said before, I don't include cleanup, because cleanup is not mandatory. Cleanup is something that you usually do because you want to. You want to get all of the collectibles or something like that. You just want to explore all of the areas. You want to open up all the map. That's not required to get through the game. There is one more version of backtracking, and I think this is going to be the polarizing one. This is going to be the one where some people think it's backtracking and some people think it's not. Pseudo hub worlds. Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. We're not talking about it specifically, but it is relevant to this. Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, Rogueport is a sort of default hub world. You have to keep coming back to Rogueport and doing different things to open up access to the next area. Is that backtracking? Because you're going to Rogueport and it's treated like a hub world. But every time you go to Rogueport, you have to do different things. And of course, everybody knows, for anybody that's played Thousand Year Door, the Bobbery thing, was it Bobbery? Where you have to go, that's clearly backtracking. I think that that's 100% backtracking. It is probably the point of the game that slows down the most for me. Yeah, hub worlds are more like a central area. Hub worlds is kind of glorified love. Yeah. That's why I don't say Rogueport in Thousand Year Door is a hub world, because it's not. It really functions as its own area. But it also functions as a default kind of hub world, because if you want to go from one area to the other, if you're backtracking or something, like if you want to do cleanup and get items or whatever, you do always have to go through Rogueport. I believe it's been a while since I played Thousand Year Door. Yeah, not talking about the places that are like Mario Galaxy, where they're blatantly hub worlds. Not like that. Rogueport functions as a hub world, but does have its own personality. It has its own atmosphere. It has its own characters. It has its own adventures that you go through in it. So that's why I question whether or not that, if it was just a hub world, I would say it's a hub world, and that's it. But you have to do things actively every time you go back to Rogueport. So some people would consider that backtracking, because now you're going back to the same area and performing new tasks over and over again. That's Bobbery. I think that's Bobbery, right? Wasn't that Bobbery in that game? That's what I mean. When you're looking for him, you have to go, or you're looking for General White or whatever the hell it was. It functions as a hub, so it has a purpose. Admiral White is the backtracking guy. There we go. General White, Admiral White. I don't remember. It's been a while. Maybe it's time I play Thousand Year Door. I don't know. So yeah. So what I was curious about first of all is do you like any kind of backtracking? I wouldn't consider that backtracking. Okay, yeah. So that I feel like that's a popular idea. Is that a lot of people in that particular situation that doesn't feel like backtracking, and I think it doesn't feel like backtracking because you are actively doing new things every time you go there. Final Fantasy VII Remake has slight backtracking, but it's based on chapter, so it does change some of the locations a bit. Just my experience playing the game. Do you like backtracking? Some people like it. Some people like revisiting areas that they went to before because you know what happens. You revisit these areas, but maybe you've got a new power up. Maybe there's something there that you want to unlock. Maybe there were some collectibles that you couldn't get before. Some people really like it. Yeah, Rogueport has so much personality. It's difficult, and it isn't difficult to get around it. Exactly, and I think that's why people don't mind Rogueport as much. I don't mind backtracking if there's something new to do, but when it feels like a slog, that's when I take issue with it. If it's not too intrusive, then I'm fine with it. Depending on the backtracking, if you're just going through it till you get to the next area, to the next exit, then no. I don't mind it. Yeah, okay, so that seems like a pretty popular concept, is that as long as there's new things to do, it's okay. I like when later at Vivi, have a good one. Thank you for stopping in. I like when I'm traveling through an area, and not a lot of games do this stuff. I like when I'm traveling through an area and I see walls I can't open, platforms I can't reach, stairs I can't get to, things like that. I like that stuff because, number one, it usually tells me what to expect, which is I'm going to have to come back here later. Number two, it means that when I do have to come back here, it is not going to be a slog. It isn't going to be, I would argue, no. Elements. What I mean is, when I say cleanup, what I mean is I don't have to come back to these areas. I choose to. What I'm talking about is I'm walking through an area and I see a wall that I can't open yet. And then the story naturally brings me back through that area where I would normally say, oh my God, I have to backtrack through this area. But now you've integrated cleanup into that. Now it's not optional for me to go back. The story is sending me back to this area. But now that I'm there and I have these different abilities, now it's not just me walking through the area and saying, I'm not just holding right, trying to get to the new place that I'm going to. Now I'm going through this area again, but I'm saying, okay, I have a double jump, I have a wall bomb, I have a hook shot or whatever. Now I'm backtracking, but there's also new stuff for me to do in the areas that I was already through. That's good backtracking for me. Metroid Zero Mission. Metroid Zero Mission has some backtracking. Metroid itself, Super Metroid, had backtracking. But a lot of the time, you had different kinds of abilities. And then, of course, you had stuff like the Speed Booster, which made a traversal much easier. It's like the age-old. The final boss is in the starting hub, but it's locked behind the end game upgrade wall. I kind of like that stuff. I don't mind that stuff. You know, Chrono Trigger had a sort of hub world-ish kind of thing. You know, the end of time, and in the end of time was a bucket right to the last boss. But you dare not jump in the bucket. Ritual of the Night has good backtracking, and again, Ritual of the Night is a game that mitigates a lot of the backtracking with warp points. You know, one of the biggest complaints about Symphony of the Night is that it could have stood to have a few more warp points, which is not not an unreasonable request. I mean, imagine Breath of the Wild. Imagine Skyrim without fast travel, without the towers. No one would ever give that game over like a 5 rating. Never. I like Phantom Hourglass regardless of the backtracking. I haven't played Phantom Hourglass since the first time I beat it, so I'm gonna have to check that out. Pokemon was really good at making going backwards on roads easy. Pokemon, especially early on, crazy. Pokemon was also really good at routing the whole game around the map and not requiring you to do a whole lot of backtracking, in my opinion, unless you were trying to go and catch all the Pokemon. I feel, especially with the first game, I feel like they did a really good job of routing you around the game world so that you don't really have to backtrack a whole lot. I thought the Pokemon games were really good in that way. Yeah, those games wouldn't be nearly as fun without fast travel. Absolutely. That's why when I played Breath of the Wild, the first thing I wanted to do after I got off of the little island or whatever it was, or the plateau, was travel the map and unlock all of the fast travel points. Talking about Final Fantasy VII, do you plan to stream the game? No, I wouldn't stream that game as a first playthrough. My biggest problem with streaming brand new, very long, very awaited games is that I have to play them at the pace of the stream. It's killing me right now that I can't play Hollow Knight because I would love to sit down and play 10 hours of Hollow Knight, but I'm playing it on stream. So I have to wait until Monday in order to play the game again, unless I throw in extra streams like that. So games like that, I finished Paper Mario and the Origami King. I might actually stream that game because I've already beaten it. I've already done everything I'm going to do in that game. Now I can play it at a slower pace and everybody can watch it and we can all share and enjoy in it because that's a great game and you should all watch it. Ocarina of Time really showed how you can get the most out of the world with its time travel. There's the idea of fast travel mitigate the necessity of backtracking. Sandox, that's why I said fast travel has done a good job of dampening the hard blow that backtracking leaves. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to travel through the areas. You just have to go to the areas. Excuse me. I forgot my water. Some people don't like that. I think that it helps. I think that fast travel helps significantly. I think that more fast travel points help significantly. Your ideas are intriguing to me. That's my follow. You gotta don't unfollow and follow again. But Jesus, if you call your friends and you get them to follow us over here, you get to hear that message over and over again. And as Jesus, I imagine you've got at least 12 friends, right? But look out for one of them. Would you or just stream your normal gameplay sessions and just have a little less interaction so you can concentrate? No, I don't mind not concentrating on the game. My problem is just that I don't want to play it off stream. If I commit to playing a game on stream, that's where I want to play it. I won't stream. Well, I can't stream normal gameplay sessions because normal gameplay sessions is me sitting on the couch, which is not where my stream setup is. Later, Ryan, have a good one. Thank you for stopping in. Of course. I don't typically sit at my computer and game a whole lot, so that's where my stream setup is. So I would not just stream me playing a game and not interacting with everybody. That's, I'm more interested in being a better streamer than I am a better game player. If that makes any sense. Jack 2 doesn't have the best backtracking. Neither does Jack 3. Yeah, so backtracking, fast travel helps hide backtracking fatigue for longer. Yeah, eventually you get through it, though. Eventually, if you don't have a lot of variety in the areas you go to, eventually, and that's one of the most dangerous things about backtracking, whether you're walking through the area or you're fast traveling to it. Sometimes there are areas in games that we don't like. We just visually don't like them. We don't like the enemies that are there. We don't like something about it. So when the game says, oh, by the way, you have to go back to this area, even if I don't have to walk through the whole area, just the idea of being there is like, oh. What about cleanup for 100% run or true ending? Is that backtracking? No. That's cleanup. Dragoon, cleanup to me is different. Cleanup to me is an optional thing. So that's completely different because you don't have, I'm talking about the story, the progression of the game sending you back to these areas. Backtracking to clean up is completely different. That to me is an optional thing. But if the story sends you back to another area in order to complete the game, that's not optional. You are forced to do that. Yeah, cleanup is getting extras. Cleanup is getting extra collectibles, filling out bestiaries, things like that. But that's all optional stuff typically. Unless you're talking about an extra ending, which that's up to you whether or not you feel like that's optional. Me, I generally, if you tell me that I have to do an extra 40 hours of gameplay to get an extra screen at the ending, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care. I'm going to go online, I'm going to look at the extra screen, and I'm going to say, fantastic. Because that's sort of what Origami King is doing right now. It would be a pain in the ass for me to 100% that game, and I really don't feel like it. I don't want to end up hating the game. Backtracking is usually when you start to nitpick mechanics or art style. The true ending is part of the story. No, typically not. Dragoon, if the true ending is part of the story, that's a dirty trick. A lot of the time, what games have are just extras for 100%ing the game. Most games, I don't think there are a lot of games at all that hide the true ending behind fully 100%ing a game. If you know of any examples, if anybody knows of any examples of that, please tell me. Typically what ends up happening is you get an extra little piece, something real small and insignificant. Maybe not insignificant, but small usually. Nothing really major. Jack one has a true ending at 100%, but it's just extra stuff. Like it doesn't change the outcome of the lives of the characters or anything like that, right? Batman Arkham Knight. Vandal Hearts. Vandal Hearts on the PS1 has an extra sort of little scene at the end. It's probably like a 20-second scene, if even that. And the idea is that at the end of the game, you don't know if the main character survives. And then in the extra part, they kind of imply that he most likely did. But it's not really mandatory viewing. It doesn't change what happens at the end of the game. You don't fight a different last boss. Everything is exactly the same. It's just a little bit of extra story. The Final Fantasy X-2 count. I mean, any game would count if that's what it does. Here's what I mean. Does it change the outcome of the characters? Does it change the last boss that you fight? Does it change the final dungeon that you go to? Does it change who the villain is? These are storyline elements. These are things that you're telling me I have to 100% the game in order to find out that my partner was actually the real villain. That's a dirty trick to play on characters. Remember the SGB Metroid Fusion? Was it 98% or was it 99%? Because he missed like a power bomb, I think in that playthrough. Doesn't Breath of the Wild have an extra ending? Does it? Anybody? Does extra Wild? Breath of the Wild has an extra thing for collecting all 900 Korok seeds, but it's a golden poop. Yeah, 100% the game and you get one still image. I don't care. I'll go online and look up the image. That is irrelevant to me. I don't care about that. It's when you start changing the story for 100%ing a game that I feel you're playing a nasty trick on the player. I don't like it. It does have an extra scene at the end. It retcons the ending of the original. Wait, which game is this? Oh, no. Oh, God, no. See, that's a little dirty. That's a little dirty. That's X2. That's what you're saying is Final Fantasy X2? Or 10-2. I'm going to call it 10-2 because that's what it is. It dies if you beat the Champions Ballot. It does not die if you... Wait, it does not die if you beat the Champions Ballot? Oh, okay. So the Champions Ballot was... the Champions Ballot is different. That's kind of different because that's DLC. So that's not totally necessary, right? I thought Undertale. I have a lot of problems with Undertale. If you watch Johnny's review, if for anybody that is not familiar, his name is Some Call Me Johnny. He's a very talented content creator. If you watch his review, he has issues the same way that I had issues with that game. Yes, 10-2. Crash 2 and 3 have their true endings unlocked by collecting your... Yeah, see that? I know a game that did it. I know a game that absolutely did it. Ape Escape. Ape Escape did it. You can play through Ape Escape and get to the story and get through the story. And then when you're done, you are required to go back and collect all of the monkeys that you missed. Or apes, I guess, technically. when you collect them all, you fight the actual last boss. So that game does it. That game makes you, and not really, I guess it's 100% because the only collectible in that game are apes. So it's technically it's 100%. But it's not like it's making you collect golden bananas or extra cookies or anything like that. It's basically just the apes, which is, it's funny because I didn't know that there would be an extra ending. I just wanted to play it more and collect more apes. And when I got them all, there was another boss. I was like, oh, okay, here we go. Which, by the way, was probably the most satisfying final boss I had played in a long time. Yeah, there's also more upgrades and stuff. But you don't need the upgrades for the ending. You just need the apes. Yeah, that's the thing. You don't need all of the upgrades. You just need the apes. Do you fight Snake as the true final boss in Ape Escape? Snake! No, you fight the guy that took down Harambe. Rest in peace, buddy. There are some coins, but they don't count. Yeah, and that's the thing. The only thing you're going through in Ape Escape when you're going to recollect everything, the only thing you need to collect are the other apes. So it's not really 100%. Did you spank the monkeys? Oh, yes, I did. And then I played the game. I thought you needed a few of the upgrades to get in. You need some of the upgrades to get to some of the monkeys, to get to some of the apes, yes. But is there another collectible in Ape Escape other than apes and power-ups? Have a favorite final boss or bosses? Final Fantasy VI is a good one. I think Shadow the Hedgehog was worse at having multiple endings. I mean, multiple endings are a whole separate. Spectre coins, thank you. Okay, so yes, somebody said that before. Spectre coins, but yeah, but you don't need the Spectre coins to complete the true ending. So that's not really 100%ing. You're just going back through. And again, you're backtracking with better upgrades and stuff. Miss Pac-Man Space Madness, I think, did that. I know Kirby 64 does it. So that's, I don't know. Backtracking is, I feel like it's a polarizing kind of topic. Like, some people like it, some people don't. I definitely think that some people disagree on what is backtracking and what is kind of like a backtracking. So it's a very fascinating topic. I always love, this is one of the things I love the most about video games, is that when everybody's respectful, there's a lot of interesting discussions to be had, and I think this is one of them. I hope so, anyway. But that's pretty loud, isn't it? It's time for the viewer topics portion. So if you have any topics that you would like to bring up, if you would like to discuss anything, if you would like to ask questions, this is also a Q&A portion. So if you have any questions of me, you are more than welcome to do so now. Cave Story is less backtrack. I gotta play through that game. I haven't played through that game. Cave Story is less backtracking and more obtuse ending. Yeah, I have to play through that game. I never played through it. I gotta pick it up. I had a chance to pick it up, and I found out there was a variant cover, so now I want the variant cover because I'm a giant collecting nerd. And that makes me happy. No, hold on. What game is that? Shadow the Hedgehog didn't require 100% to get its true ending. Yeah, Valkyrie Profile doesn't require you to 100% it, but it does require you to do a lot of things that you would not normally do. And Valkyrie Profile getting the true ending is absurd in that game. How many games do you think you could beat in 5 hours? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe like 3 or 4. Obviously you would have to pick and choose games that work. That's tricky because you've got games like Super Metroid. I can beat Super Metroid in like an hour 20. I think is like real time. I think it's like an hour and 10 actually that I do it in. You got games like Marble Madness on the NES that are 6 levels. They're just hard. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it would just depend on what kinds of games you're allowed to pick. What are some video game endings that you have that have changed your mind over time? For me, it was Odyssey. I went from to that's actually really funny. I don't think any. I think most of the endings that I've seen in video games, I just really kind of like. I liked Mario Odyssey's ending when I first beat it. Yeah, I don't think I don't think there's any endings that over time I was like, oh, okay, that kind of makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I don't think so. That's an interesting question, but yeah, I don't think so. I love Cave Story, but the best ending is a huge pain to get, but it makes you feel good. A lot of obscure things at obscure times. Moon is coming to Switch. My first girlfriend said it's the Moon. I remember Moon in the store that I worked at. I remember that it was there for a long time, and I was going to buy it, but when I found out it was an RPG, I didn't buy it because I knew I couldn't play it in Japanese. It was on Japanese PlayStation. What does everyone think about the process of 100%ing a game? I don't generally like it because there's always a bunch of collectibles that make it extremely difficult. I like going through. I like trying to see every area. Once I see every area, I feel like I've done enough. What are your thoughts on the Mario 64 port making the game more to promote? Making the game more to promotional art? Clarify. I'm not entirely sure what that means. What are good quarantine games that you've played that distracted you from? Animal Crossing. I played a lot of Call of Duty Warzone, stuff like Stardew Valley, the development sims. You know what I mean? Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley, games like that. Minecraft. Minecraft seems to be a good one. RPGs are very good because RPGs give you a nice long experience and story to play through and to read through and stuff. So I think those are really good. You know, stuff like Dragon Quest 11 is probably really good for a lot of people. There's just longer games. Call of Duty Warzone for me and Animal Crossing especially were some of my big ones. Hey buddy. Hold on a second. Just to ask, is it worrying if I'm already listening to Christmas music? It's worrying me, but Sondox, I'll be honest with you, with the way 2020 has gone, let's have Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, get the hell out of this year. Normally I get bummed out when Christmas stuff and like Halloween stuff was already in the stores, so I like Halloween, so I'm happy with that. But like if Christmas stuff showed up tomorrow, I'd be like, fine, let's go. You know what? How about this? July, August, next January. Boom. Just get the hell out of here. I normally can't be bothered with 100% games. I don't bother 100% in games because a lot of the time it does get a little boring. I'll play it for as much as I can and then I'll stop. What's worse for you, a bad game or a boring game? A bad game. A boring game. A bad game is usually some kind of entertaining, especially when you stream them. When you stream a bad game, Ghoul Boy, and you get to experience all of the awfulness, it's usually really hilarious. A boring game means nothing interesting is happening, good or bad. That is a wasted experience to me. What are some final bosses that you like that people don't really care for? Zeromus in Final Fantasy IV. I like that boss. I don't know why. I maybe that's just nostalgia. I love. This is the second time I'm mentioning it, but Vandal Hearts. Vandal Hearts, I thought had a spectacular final boss. Unbelievable. I had feels for the boss. Like I was the first time I played it and I found out who the final boss was, I was genuinely sad for the boss. And that's a game that I think is amazing and not a lot of people talk about is Vandal Hearts. Are there games that you refuse to 100% just because of how long it takes? Most of them. I'll be honest, Ronan. You know what? I'm gonna transform your question if you don't mind. And I know I'm gonna lose a chat here for a second. I'm gonna transform your question. Bad moments in 100%ing games is usually what keeps me from trying to 100% games. Dodging 200 lightning bolts in Final Fantasy X. 10? Was it 10? Dodging 200 lightning bolts is BS. I'll never do it. Paper Mario and Origami King has a few obnoxious trophies to collect. I won't bother. anything like that, what's the big one that everybody says? Blue coins and Mario Sunshine. I will not bother. Absolutely not. Who's here? Wow, I think I lost a lot of the chat here. Okay, hold on. I think I lost some of the questions. Hold on. Oh no, I went back too far. That's what it was. Hold on. I'm trying to. Where are my questions? Hold on. Oh, good lord. Hold on a second. Okay. Here we go. Breath of the Wild. Yeah, I won't bother Breath of the Wild. Collecting 900 Korok seeds. Ain't gonna happen. Which moon? Pokemon Moon? Harvest Moon? Mooning someone? Stardew Valley's getting a physical release. I saw that. Gonna start FF6 PS1 at some point soon. Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy 6. Final Fantasy 6. Absolutely. Final Fantasy 6. Which is not in any way whatsoever to say that Chrono Trigger is a bad game. Chrono Trigger is a 9.999. Final Fantasy 6 is a 10. To me, anyway. Going 88 miles an hour to get the hell out of 2020. You better believe it. What do you think of fan games, and what is your favorite? I like fan games. I think that when fan games get taken down, I'm very understanding that they have to do that sort of thing. As for my favorite, AM2R. AM2R I thought was AM2R I followed for like when I first found out about it, it was years before it came out. And I was amazed. Like I downloaded a very early build of it, which was like the first area. It was amazing. But AM2R is such a remarkable game. I think we played it on stream. Yeah, we played that on stream, right? What do you think about post-game super bosses pushing your skills to the limit? I like post-game super bosses. I actually like post-game super bosses. I like when they are optional. I like when they require you to have a little bit more skill. You know, when we joke for all us RPG fans, we joke about I'm saving these mega elixirs. What if I need them later? Even though it's clearly the last boss, end game super bosses is what those mega elixirs are for. Absolutely. I'm gonna jump ahead here, so I apologize if I skip something. Zeromus is an interesting villain. Yeah, it took me a while to beat that boss. Fave games to play while listening to a stream or podcast. Something somewhat repetitive. Where I don't have to focus too much. Call of Duty Warzone is actually a big one for me because there's depending on how you play Warzone, there can be a lot of downtime in that. So I like having something on in the background, low, so I can hear footsteps. Fortnite used to be a good one. When I played Fortnite, I would like to have something else on while I was playing because there was sometimes a lot of downtime in that game. Yeah, it can be a bother with the ultimate weapons of Final Fantasy X. Jerome was hard, but it was satisfying delivering his final hit as Bahamut. I like throwing the Excalibur at it and doing 9999 damage. With all the games in the palm of your hands, do you have a backloggery? I do not. The backloggery is the website, right? I don't have one, and I am getting out of the habit of calling it my backlog because there are a lot of games that I would like to get to playing, but realistically, I know that I won't. So I don't have like literally a stack of games like, okay, time to get the next one. I know that I won't. So I'm getting out of the habit of calling it a backlog. And I'm just saying like Persona 5. I would like to play through that at some point. But I question whether or not it's going to happen. When I have time to play it, I haven't played it. So, I question whether or not that's a real backlog. What do you think about the process of grinding XP in an RPG? I am in a weird school on grinding in that I like it. Especially when you talk about older games, I like grinding. It's very cathartic to me. It's very much like, this is the thing that I'm doing right now, and I get to focus on it. I like it. I grew up with old RPGs, so I got used to that sort of thing. I apologize if I miss any questions. I'm kind of jumping around here because I keep losing my space. I play Animal Crossing sometimes and listen to stuff like that. Here's a video that shows what I mean. You can watch it later. Gives it the characters the look of the art you see in the game's instructions. Okay, so yeah, that's a YouTube video. I won't watch that. Arwing, if you link that to me on Twitter, I can watch that. Thank you. I have loads of games I own. Yeah, I have all of these games here. I have no plans to go back and play through every one of these games. So I'm not going to sit there and call it my backlog. As for bosses, I like the people rag on. It's Necron. Necron appears out of nowhere. But thematically he fits the game. What game is that, by the way? The main theme of the game is life and death. Oh, Final Fantasy 9. Okay. Wait. Yeah, Final Fantasy 9? Are you talking about Necron? Are you talking about isn't that the big ball? Wasn't Final Fantasy 9 Super Boss that big ball? Ozma? Right? Playing Persona 5 Road this week. Yeah, I'm gonna jump ahead here. Grinding in Kingdom Hearts 2 is great. Grinding isn't that bad to me. It's usually grinding in Final Fantasy 10 or Final Fantasy 9, not for experience, just to gain abilities. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Ozma is the ball. So that had 2 super bosses. By the way, Ozma I never beat. I never went back and did everything for Ozma. Oh, Necron's the final boss. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I was getting that mixed up. Yeah. So Ozma was the super. I thought we were talking about super bosses. Okay. So yeah. So the final boss. Yeah. Yeah. Because it was Kuja and then it was the other thing, right? Which, by the way, very upset that we never got a large scale Kuja on the Silver Dragon figure. Very upset about that. Hades is the other optional boss. Okay, so I only remember there being Ozma. The strategy guide kept telling me to go to playonline.com and I never did. See, that's the best part of the 9 modern port. You can turn off ability grinding. No, I never finished Trios. I never finished 5. I never finished Final Fantasy 5. I played a bunch of it and I don't know how far I got. But yeah, I never actually finished Final Fantasy 5. I should finish Final Fantasy 5 because that was a pretty good game while I was playing it. Yeah, I don't know. I never finished that game. I don't even know what stopped me from finishing that game. You know, if only it was on the SNES online app and then I could play it on the go. What is the name of the cactus dude? Cactar? Talking about the Cactar? What do you think about spiritual successors to franchises long forgotten? I like them. However, what I would rather see is some of these franchises just be brought back. I don't need a spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie if you could just give us a new Banjo-Kazooie or give the IP to somebody who's going to use it. There are tons of old games and IPs that I would love to see resurrected and remade, and I don't need spiritual successors. I just want new ones. Streets of Rage 4. We could have gotten something that everybody could have called it a spiritual successor to Streets of Rage. They could have said, oh my God, Roads of Anger is great. It's just like Streets of Rage. But instead, we got Streets of Rage 4, and I'm very grateful for that. I'll even play it someday. Oh, what about the giant Cactar? I think it was just called Cactar, wasn't it? Or was it Caxzilla? I don't know. Yeah. Spiritual successors are fine. It's just they tend Boulevards of Anger. They're fine, but it just makes me want those franchises again. You know, if you were to make a spiritual successor to Rocket Knight Adventures, my thought would be, hey, this is pretty great. Too bad we couldn't just get another Rocket Knight adventure. Sidewalks of Discontent. Paths of Frustration. Fighting Street. Yeah, there we go. Streets of Fighting. Ah, that's a good one. Somebody should use that. Like, oh, Streets of Fighting. That's a good franchise name. Hold on, let me look it up. Oh, it turns out there's several of these. Never mind. Slightly miffed asphalt of slightly miffed. There you go. It's got to be the road first. Fighting Street. Fighting Street is a real game for the PC Engine. Yes, it is. It is the port of Street Fighter 1. And it has the presidents of the United States on the cover because behind Ryu, for some reason, is Mount Rushmore. I have it. It's a great game. It's fantastically terrible. Yeah, it's just it's it's Fighting Street. It's bad. I didn't think it was that good. I would definitely rather just play Street Fighter. I would rather play Street Fighter 1, but yeah, it wasn't the best game. But yeah, as I was saying, I love how the final boss Necron fits the theme of death, and how does one overcome it? After defeating the spirit of death, they overcoming and defeating the spirit of death, they overcoming the fear of death itself. Yeah, it's a nice analogy. I always find that to be an analogy when it comes to conquering death, is to conquer your fear of death. Like that's always a good analogy. Original Street Fighter makes my thumbs hurt. And the original Street Fighter cabinets, didn't you have to be like, if you wanted to be Ryu, you had to be player 1, and Ken was player 2? I recently got on Jet Set Radio and became a fan, but because Sega won't make it, yeah, we get Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. Absolutely. Is that what it was called? Too bad the folks who made the game good in the first place usually leave their company later on. And that's another problem with spiritual successors, is that you may lose the charm of the originals. So it's always kind of sort of up in the air issue. All of Street Fighter makes my thumbs hurt. Why do your thumbs hurt? You're not hitting the arcade buttons with your thumbs, right? Like, you're using your fingertips. If we're talking about the arcade, I mean, if you're talking about the home console, then yeah, your thumbs hurt. But that's probably your controller. We need controllers should have convex buttons. Convex buttons are easier on the fingers, absolutely. But we're gonna wrap it up there. I would like to thank everybody for stopping in and for hanging out. I very, very much appreciate all of the love and support. Everybody here stopping in and talking about some of these conversations. I think we had a good week this week. I was worried. I don't think we didn't do an episode last week, and one of the reasons I will cancel the show is because we don't have enough interesting topics to discuss, and I could ramble for 2 hours, but that's not as interesting as having something to actually talk about. So I appreciate everybody stopping in here. If you are new here, this is what we do on Fridays. Blam, is Hulk Hogan telling me to say my prayers or eat my prayers and say my vitamins? Is that what's happening right there? Also, my favorite emo is that looks like BB Hood. Is that a white mage, or is that BB Hood from Darkstalkers? I can't tell. That's the wall, brother. But thank you, everybody. If you are watching this right now and you have not yet done so, please go ahead and click follow. I very much appreciate that. And if you have if you're inclined to do so, please go ahead and subscribe. Whether your regular subscription, or if you've got a Twitch Prime sub, go ahead and do that. Also, check the links down below and follow me over on Twitter, which is where I will post all kinds of fun updates and stuff, and follow us over on YouTube, which is where I will post archives of these shows. I have to put the last one up there, and then I got to put this one up there. And we also have a Discord. I've got all these buttons here, but I forgot to hit all of them. We also have a Discord. So if you I'll hit the Discord button. So if you follow us over on Discord, join the Discord there, and you can stop into the chat and talk with a lot of very cool people. If you're watching this on YouTube, also check the links down below. Follow us over on Twitter, and follow us over on Twitch, which is where we stream live. 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Friday. That is what this show is right here. And when you are here live, you get to be part of the discussion. But thank you, everyone. Have an amazing weekend, day, night. Do all of that stuff good. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And I will see you all next time.